I am Alara Vance, a restorer. I rescue old books, which means my whole life passes among other people's words and brittle pages. I had no friends to share a Friday night with, no cat waiting by the door, no mother's voice on the phone, only silence and a scalpel in my hand. The grimoire lay on the table like a sleeping beast. Its black leather cover seemed to drink the lamplight. I only meant to lift an ancient stitch. One careless slip. A sharp pain lanced through my finger. I hissed and jerked my hand back, but it was already too late. A thick, dark drop of blood gathered on my fingertip and fell onto the binding. It didn't spread. The book drank it. The leather rippled, as if a heart had begun to beat beneath it. The shadows in the corners of the room thickened, dense as smoke, and spilled toward the center, taking shape. A man wove himself out of the darkness, tall, with skin pale as the marble of a tomb, and eyes the color of dried blood.
At last.
His voice was velvet drawn over a knife's edge.
You summoned me, little restorer.
Who are you?
I am Nectar, prisoner of these pages, and now your servant. Make a wish, Ilara. I can give you anything. Power that makes kings tremble, wealth that outshines the sun.
And the price?
A trifle, a bit of your luck, a couple of memories you won't even notice.
I don't want anything. Leave.
You lie. I can smell your loneliness. It's rotting inside you. But no matter. I'll wait. You'll call for me yourself.
And then he dissolved into the shadows, leaving behind the scent of ozone and ash. He didn't leave. He became my shadow. I saw him in the reflections of shop windows. I felt his breath against the back of my neck in my empty apartment. But the worst of it was the dreams. That night, I dreamed of warmth. Not the warmth of blankets, but the heat of another body. Close, insistent. Strong arms circled my waist. Lips found my neck, waking a tremor I hadn't felt in years.
You don't have to wake up alone, Ilara. Say yes, and this hunger becomes real. I can give you a love that will burn the world to ash.
Go to hell, I murmured in the dream. I woke in a cold bed, gulping air like a drowning woman, my heart hammered like a trapped bird. In the morning, the first thing I did was dig through the workshop's archive. Who had brought me that cursed book? The order log was blank. No name, no phone number, only an address on the shipping box, miraculously not thrown away. 13 Shadow Street, former mansion of the Order of Dawn. The building stood at the edge of the city, staring at the world through the empty sockets of broken windows. It smelled of damp and disaster. An elderly guard smoked by the gate.
Closed, miss. Been closed 10 years.
I'm looking for the owner. A book was sent from here. The guard's expression tightened.
That would have been Madame Ravenheart's book. Evelyn Ravenheart. She ran everything until she vanished.
Vanished?
Evaporated, right in the middle of a ritual. Police found nothing, just her clothes on the floor, like her body simply stopped existing.
I went home with an icy knot tightening in my stomach. The internet gave me a few dry lines. Evelyn Ravenheart, occultist, missing for 10 years. I closed my eyes and exhaustion took me. The vision hit like a slap. I wasn't myself. I was Evelyn. I stood inside a circle of candles, beautiful, commanding. Noctar stood before me.
10 years have passed, my lady.
No, we had a deal.
The deal was simple. 10 years of a splendid life after your wish, and now, payment.
He opened his mouth and darkness poured out of him, swallowing the woman whole. I felt her agony, not physical, existential. Her soul tore into strips and threads as it was dragged into him. She became food. I tore myself out of sleep with a scream. Noctar sat in my chair, lounging with one leg crossed over the other, as if he'd always belonged there. So you don't take pieces, you take everything. In 10 years, you'll devour me.
Ilara, I'm offering you a decade of divine power. Is your gray, wretched little life truly worth clinging to?
Out. The next day, I worked as if submerged in fog. I needed something, anything, to drown out my thoughts. The workshop door creaked. Sweetheart? I froze. I hadn't heard that voice in 5 years. My mother stood in the doorway, older, a guilty smile trembling on her lips, but it was her. Sweetheart, forgive me. I was so wrong. I missed you so much. My heart skipped. Every grievance, every ache of loneliness evaporated in an instant. I stepped toward her with my hands outstretched. Mom! I hugged her and felt not the warmth of a living body, but cold ash. She crumbled in my arms. Gray dust settled over my work coat. In the corner, Noctar appeared.
See? You want love so badly. I can bring it back for real. Just ask.
You're a monster.
I'm a mirror.
I didn't answer. I packed my things in silence and took the grimoire home. That night, I didn't sleep. I read, not spells, footnotes, rules. Every kind of magic has laws. And I found one. On a yellowed page written in Latin, a single line waited like a trap set long ago. Vinculum solvitur morte. A bond is broken by death. The contract was anchored to the soul. If the vessel died before the term ended, the soul passed beyond a threshold the demon could not reach. The demon remained hungry, and the contract became void. The plan was madness, but I had no intention of living in anticipation of execution or becoming a sadist's toy. From my work bag, I took a small vial of concentrated solvent, toxic, lethal if help didn't come within minutes. Noctar! He appeared instantly, as if he'd been waiting behind my shoulder.
You're ready?
Yes, my voice didn't shake. I want to make a deal. His eyes flared with triumph.
I'm listening.
I wish for you to protect my life. If my life is threatened, you must save me, against any rule, at any cost. Noctar's brow furrowed. His smile slid off his face.
You waste omnipotence on insurance? How foolish. But so it be. The wish is accepted.
The moment the magic sealed the contract, I twisted open the vial.
What are you doing?
Changing the rules. I drank it in a single swallow. Fire tore down my throat.
No!
The world tilted. Pain split my chest open from the inside. I hit the floor, feeling my heart stutter. 1 beat. 2. Silence. Darkness folded over me. This was the end. Coming back didn't feel like waking. It felt like falling from a great height, straight back into my own body. Light stabbed my eyes, harsh, sterile, white. It didn't warm, it exposed, like prying open a skull. Instead of sulfur and blood, there was the sharp bite of iodine, bleach, and wilting lilies. "She's coming too," someone said. The voice reached me as if through deep water. I tried to blink. My eyelids felt made of lead. My throat burned as if I'd swallowed shattered glass. I lay on a hard bed, laced with tubes like a marionette with strings. Machines beeped a rhythm my heart seemed to have forgotten.
Ilara, my baby.
My mother, real. Her eyes were red, her hair gray and tangled, her face carved with wrinkles I didn't remember. She was crying, gripping my hand as if I were the only anchor in a storm. "Mom?"
Hush, hush. The doctor said the crisis is over. You lived. Oh God, Ilara, I thought I'd lost you forever when the police called.
Police? The words scraped my mind raw. I tried to remember. The last thing I had was the dim workshop, the old lamp, and then nothing. A black hole with ragged edges. A doctor entered, his coat whispering as he moved.
Amnesia is normal, Miss Vance. A concussion is inevitable in accidents like this. You survived by a miracle. Your car went off the bridge into the river, if not for a passing driver who pulled you out and performed CPR before the ambulance arrived.
Accident? Bridge? I frowned. Somewhere, deep in my chest, something ached. A hollow soreness. It felt missing, as if someone had cut a piece out of me, stitched the wound closed with rough thread, and left behind the wrongness of it. Phantom pain from events I couldn't recall. I didn't remember I had a car, I whispered.
Shock. Your memory may return, or it may not. The important thing is, your heart is beating again.
When he left, my mother squeezed my hand again.
Forgive me. I was a terrible mother. I never should have left you alone all those years. When they told me about the accident, I understood. Nothing matters more. Can we start over?
I looked into her tear-swollen eyes. There was no darkness in them, no red sparks, only fear and love. "We can," I breathed, and a tear slid into the pillow. On the bedside table, amid the hospital's sterility, stood a bouquet of black roses, too lavish, too mournful, too wrong for this place. And beside the vase lay a book, a heavy black volume bound in leather. My gaze stuck to it. A chill crawled up my spine, instinctive, animal fear, with no explanation attached. I knew that book. My fingers remembered the texture of that leather, even if my mind didn't. "Where did that come from?" I asked, nodding toward the table. My mother followed my gaze and managed a faint smile.
Oh, that? Your new employer. Such a gallant man. Tall, distinguished. He came to the hospital right after I did. Said you were working on an important project and got into trouble.
Employer?
Yes, he paid for a private room. And he left this. He said it was your favorite copy, and he asked me to tell you he's waiting for your return.
What's his name?
Mr. Naktar. Strange name, isn't it?
The room swayed. The name struck my mind like a blade of pain, but no image formed. Naktar. I stared at the book. For a heartbeat, it seemed to pulse, like a vein beating under skin. There was a hole in my memory, but instinct screamed that there had been no accident, that whoever dragged me back from death did not do it out of mercy.